Lonnie Coleridge took a deep breath. Something he could actually do now that he'd phased out of limbo and into Purgatory's more physical dimension, and faced the people perched nervously on the 3 shabby green-room sofas. Most of those present were, like Lonnie, the more recent additions to the company, but several of the ancient Greek contingent were present too. Man, I could really use a drink. But considering the vending machines against the wall in the barren kitchenette held nothing but Necco wafers and store-brand cola, warm, decaf, diet store-brand cola, he may as well hope for a stairway to heaven. He wiped his damp palms on the bell-bottomed jeans he'd worn since 1968 and attempted a reassuring smile. Judging by the way everyone's tension level ratcheted up, he wasn't particularly successful. So, I suppose you're all wondering, is it true, Lonnie? Tova, the petite seamstress, squeezed between Wilson, a massive black pit singer, and Kiku, the master electrician, leaned forward, her hands clasped as though she were praying for a miracle. Everything's gone? The sets, the lights, the... She swallowed, tears glistening in her big brown eyes. The costumes? I'm afraid so. Lonnie gave up on reassurance because, frankly, this was a disaster of, well, mythic proportions. But how? Fred, the stocky set construction foreman, sounded bewildered, as well he might. The sets, costumes, even the lighting instruments were corporeal enough, barely, in limbo for the company to prepare for each year's production. But they couldn't actually be destroyed in limbo, any more than any of the souls consigned there could move on. Everything was ready for the load-in. We triple-checked. Every blasted Doric column phased out of limbo yesterday without a hitch. Kiku nodded. Even the lights and the light board made the transition perfectly, at least... She tugged at the chopstick that held her messy black bun in place. It looked perfect from our side of the veil. The costumes, too, racks and all. Arachne, in her human form, thank goodness, anxiously fingered her spider silk shawl. We didn't. Lonnie, I swear, we didn't do anything wrong, she wailed. Daphne glared at Lonnie as she patted Arachne's shoulder. We didn't. The gods could have had absolutely no objections. No objections, Echo repeated, wrapping a comforting arm around Arachne's back. Lonnie held up his hands, palms out. Nobody's accusing you of error. You all did beautiful work, and we should have been ready for Tech Week starting tomorrow. Except... Lonnie cleared his throat and glanced sidelong at the corner where a very sulky Hermes slumped against the wall, his normally golden skin slightly green, except when it was bathed in red from the sporadic flicker of the soda machine. It appears that the monthly Cards Against Humanity game between Hermes, Loki, Anansi, and Coyote got a little more spirited than usual. He tamped down an inappropriate laugh because this really wasn't funny. There may have been copious amounts of nectar involved. And peyote, Hermes muttered. He massaged his temples. Don't suppose you've got any aspirin? Lonnie dismissed Hermes' grumbles. He was one of the 12 ranking Olympians, for Pete's sake. He ought to be capable of finding his own headache remedies. Although, after the shambles he and his trickster god friends had made of the theater, Lonnie was ready to recommend the same axe that cured Zeus's headache by way of Athena's birth. On the other hand, one Athena was more than enough, thank you very much. Hermes belched and pushed away from the wall, towering over all the ex-humans. I gotta pee. He lifted into the air on his winged sandals and aimed himself toward the hallway, his flight path erratic at best.